Warning, this video is intended for adult collectors. It contains plastic collectibles, questionable opinions, and the foremost Kamen Rider Decade apologist. Do not panic. This is just a random review.
Before we begin, thank you very much to Speak German for joining the Patreon campaign. Dankeschön. Very appreciated. I would run with that bit more if I knew any more German. So thank you very much for the support. Means everything to me. So we're getting close to 50,000 subscribers here on YouTube, which is kind of awesome. Overdue, but awesome. If you have not hit that button yet, please hit that button. It is absolutely free. It helps me out a lot. And once we hit 50,000, I will announce the big contest, the big giveaway I will be doing, where it will be a $200 item I'm giving away entirely for free. But that only happens once we hit 50,000, so if you haven't hit the button, hit the button. So, today we are back to Transformer reviews. The last review was a weird Korean toy, so I thought, time to do a Transformer review, and you know what? One of the ones that everyone seems to be talking about right now is the brand new studio series, Brawn. The boy is overdue for an overhaul, and here it is in all of its glory, the same way most of the 86 studio series have been so far. So let's see how this one turned out. A much lauded Hound figure. So for starters, he is very familiar in his G1 truck mode. This is either a truck with a camper bed on it, or it is a small SUV. I've never actually known. I know there is a model of truck that is similar to this, but beyond that, I'm just hazarding a guess. Either way, it is familiar as Brawn, with the olive green color scheme, giving you a little bit of military vibe, almost like this would be just like a little cargo carrier or something for them. The big thing for Studio Series is they do not use translucent plastic for the 86 figures. They use opaque windows that have been painted. I love that. There is no translucent plastic on this guy whatsoever. It is all nice and solid. No fears of that here whatsoever. For other detail besides the baby blue windows, I will admit sparkly dark blue would probably be a little bit better for windows, but I digress. We do have the big bold Autobot symbol right there on the hood, as well as plenty of silver in the front doing the front grille as well as the headlights. These lights on the side are unpainted, which is a little bit annoying when all the lights around the middle are. Minor detail, a little bit of griping. I'm just going to get a little bit of griping out of the way this time, that's all. The rims of the wheels have also been painted. They skip that a lot these days, so it's always nice to see when they actually include it. Rear section, there is sculpting there. I do like the little bits of sculpting with the windshield wiper and the tank there. It's nice little details to include, but no paint on the rear whatsoever. I don't even see tail lights molded in, oddly enough. But yeah, that's how it goes. Aside from that, you will find a few bits of black plastic mixed in as well as a little bit of the yellow shining through. In the rear, it's just plastic. On the top, on the front here, it is paint. It's nicely matched too. And then, of course, we have the gun placement on top, plugged into the spare tire. The gun is interesting in that it is something probably pulled from a G1 episode. I don't know which one, but it's just kind of a simple generic gun that Brawn comes with. And it's surprising to me because if they're going to mold in an accessory with this toy, I kind of expected it to be Outback's cannon, just to kind of get that one established and out of the way before the inevitable repaint. But it is what it is. It's still just a nice little one. And when a vehicle has kind of like a military vibe like this one does, having the gun mounted to the top always feels a little bit better than, say, a Corvette or a Lamborghini having a laser mounted to the roof, right? So it's a nice little figure. It's nice and compact too. This is actually a pretty small deluxe, all things considered, but so the vehicle mode is actually really compact and very snug and solid. Hi, Brawn, hi. So with that, very simple. Not too much to complain about. The only issue I have with the overall look of the vehicle mode is just how many exposed hinges are going on here. Up top, you've got one with that groove at the top for the transformation. A little bit ugly. It's the sides here where you have a ton of exposed hinges. With this being in the leg, that's the foot on the inside. Then you have another one here for the arm assembly. Lots of exposed hinges there where a door should have been. But, we'll overlook that for the sake of a good transformation, which we should now demonstrate. So I'm going to start by lifting up the rear, getting it folded all the way out of the way. The thing about the rear section here is you got these tiny little tabs, and the tabs are not fully molded. They have a hook to them. So they have these very thin points that are a little bit scary. That said, these really only seemed to, as far as I can tell, they're not going to affect the vehicle mode's firmness at all. So that should be okay. All right, so we're going to get this rear section out of the way. Then we're going to go to the sides. The sides will unclip from the front and hinge all the way down like so. Let me get back into focus here. There we go. Sure that all folds down like that. They are going to come in handy. They are going to kind of help in hooking this together along with the extra little tabs there. Still kind of makes me nervous. Also, yes, we'll demonstrate once we get to robot mode, but it is very nice to see that like that element of the original transformation still exists in this figure. Unfold the feet like so. Now, once we get this whole rear section handled, the top of the truck, then we'll get to rotating the waist. But for now, we got to get the kibble out of the way. Come down here to the arms. They are tabbed together at the forearm. And once you get them untabbed, you're going to rotate this panel all the way out. So it should look like that. Go ahead and rotate these up and then rotate the shoulder down to get them in the right orientation. You can go ahead and flip the hands down as well. Might as well at this point. Might as well just do everything at this point. Or just wait for it to be in robot mode and line it all up. Your choice. It's your toy. Not telling you what to do. So then you have to do this. I'm telling you to rotate the waist at this point. Otherwise, nothing works. I'm kidding. All right. So, yeah. After this, we just got cleanup service to do. So, before we get to that, let me lower the torso, which lets us rotate the front end of the truck down like that and close it back up. Nice way of hiding it. I like that little bit of engineering. I also like the engineering that goes into actually making this work. These tabs on the back side of the shoulder are going to go into the little slots there to secure them in place. So make sure that is aligned correctly. And from there, we just need to do the old school, I guess, kind of accordion it up and fold it into a little backpack. And that is going to be our Brawn's transformation. There's some nice tricks to this toy and the way it transforms. I really do like the legs going all the way from the front and folding down together. That's neat. I like that the sides of the vehicle kind of do like a 180 and become the shoulder mounts. That's cool. Even getting rid of the front grille is done in a pretty clever and clean way. All around, this is actually a really well-engineered toy. A lot of nice little tricks and really smart engineering to it. Really, really dig it. It's a nice return to form for Brawn, who, I was going to say, traditionally doesn't have too many great figures, because the original one is a little jank, but to be fair, Titan's Return is okay. This one. So let's get a close-up of that head, because the head on him is a big deal. Obviously, since this is 86 movie, the head is completely cartoon accurate and looks very, very nice. I will say the shoulders look a little bit low set on this. I would have preferred them to be a little bit higher up, especially because Brawn is kind of like a tanky, boxy, hefty kind of character. In that regard, the arms, like, they could stand to be a little bit thicker, but given the space they had in the vehicle mode, that's kind of where it goes. And then you got the legs being a little thick, kind of giving like a Mega Man vibe, just like how thick the lower legs are. So, I mean, this is very, very nitpicky. To be fair, in order to find faults in this toy, I've got to be a little bit nitpicky. So all I can really say is, if we're going cartoon accurate, the proportions are just a little bit off. Just a little bit off. It's mostly fine. So we're looking really, really good here. We got the Autobot symbol nice and big there on the belly. The hinge in the middle is doing something clever to imitate his kind of waist details he had in the cartoon. It's kind of a neat touch. And then, yeah, the legs fold up nicely. And yes, as it was pointed out in actually the behind the scenes stuff, if you leave the legs unfolded, they do look the way that the G1 toy did. Now, you do have a Stiltman thing going on if you do that. That said, I mean, it is possible to balance him in this position. It's difficult, but you can do it. And it's not cooperating with me right now. Suffice to say, he comes out, if you do manage to do it, he comes out about as balanced as the original G1 toy was, which if you have it, you'll know is not well. Beyond that, what are we looking for color-wise? Okay, so for starters, there's a lot of paint. There's a lot of paint. This entire torso and the panel behind his head, all paint. All painted. And you can see, yeah, you can definitely tell a difference. It's a lot more glossy than the hips, which are molded plastic, but it's close enough. It's actually not a bad match. Forearms, obviously, are all paint. The forearms and the hands are completely silver, and a little bit of silver on the knees as well. Nice little bit of detail there. Yeah, all around. He does come with a backpack, though. I do wish this folded up flat a little bit more, or had like a turnaround thing so it could like enclose more closely to the body. In animation model and original toy, the top of his truck did just kind of hang off his back. So it's not the worst example of kibble I've ever seen, but I definitely think it could have gone a little bit flatter to the back and not had that gap in there. But minor quibble. Again, I have to point out minor things in order to really fault this toy at all. Like you can tell, he just looks really, really nice. Now on a deluxe scale, because he is one of the mini bots, he is on a little bit on the small side for a deluxe, which unfortunately I neglected to have an example. Give me a minute. I don't know why I said give me a minute. I jump cut, so you didn't have to wait at all. But as you can see, yes, he's just about a head shorter than a standard size deluxe. So some of the taller deluxes are actually going to dwarf Brawn quite a bit. So you do still have a little bit of a mini-bot vibe. It's still weird seeing him this big compared to the full-size cars from the original Autobot lineup. But if it gives them the engineering they need in order to really get the toys they deserve, fair. They're fine. All right, and yes, if you want a sideswipe for $25, let me know. I can't mail it to you because we're not set up for that at the shop. But hey, you're still welcome to let me know. So all that out of the way, we have to finish off with the articulation rundown, which is not bad. So the head is on a swivel. It is very tight because this entire head is paint. The gray and the face and the silver, obviously. It's one of those paint jobs that feels like the entire part was dunked in paint. So it's very tight against the torso, especially when you remember the torso is also fully painted. So you've got a lot of paint on paint rubbing, which you're never going to see the damage of, but it does make for a very tight connection point. Shoulders are ball jointed and they have full range of motion. And for you 86 movie fans, no, the left shoulder is not loose. I do wish there was a blast effect post on there. That would have been hysterical. But no, it's just a standard shoulder. You have a full bicep rotation. You have an elbow that gets well beyond the 90. Oh, I love a deep elbow bend. There's not even a double joint. You got kind of a little bit of the weird floaty thing, but enough of a fake elbow behind it to make it look okay. We saw the waist rotation in transformation, so obviously nothing is obstructing that. Hips are full universal joints. They have all the range you would ever want. Thigh rotation works all the way around. You have almost 90 degrees at the knee. Well, Primus giveth and Primus taketh away. What we lost in knees, we gained in elbow. And then, of course, you have the old ankle tilt, which, you know, if you want to fold the toes, you can still fold the toes as well. So, the run of articulation on these toys has been so good lately that it just feels redundant to even talk about articulation at this point, because it's always really good and it always has all these basically the same ranges of articulation. It'd be much shorter to tell you which points of articulation aren't up to snuff. So, and then obviously we always end off by including the weapon, just so you can see what he looks like in an action pose. And that, my friends, is going to do it for 86 Brawn. He's a really, really solid figure in more ways than one. Truck mode feels nice and solid. It feels heavy for its size. And then the robot mode does everything it really needs to do to really stand out as a good-looking Brawn toy. There's very minor cosmetic issues caused by the engineering, but beyond that, nothing to really complain about. He is an extremely worthy addition to all of the, either, what are we up to? All of the recent like mini legends, like ever since Siege, I think, like we've been, or Earthrise with Cliffjumper. We've been going on these a long time now. There's not a whole lot of them left, and it's good to see that even this close to the wire, we're still getting really good ones. So if you find it, pick it up with confidence. I absolutely recommend this one.
I'm like, I think you guys got this. I will back away, and I will see you all day.
You've got this handled.
Alafi's like, really? You're not gonna help me? Like, it's fine now.
It's like these disgusting creatures breathing down my neck, and you're all just like, I believe in you. You got this. That
All right,
burn.
you seem to have this. 5 minutes.